Well, thanks so much for joining us for today's City Council recap live on location. You'll notice we're not in the studio. We are outside.
Yeah.
You know, the kids say we outside. We are outside. All right, today. My name is Chris Loos. I am joined today by Miss Gholar.
Yes, hello everyone.
Jodynne.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, lovely ladies, for being here. I had to bring a couple ladies to make this look a lot better than just me sitting here and doing this. But we're on the corner of Myrtle and Lime. We do this annually. I'll say we have the pleasure of doing this outside annually. We're calling it this year the Holiday Parade Pre-Party. As we record the recap this evening, the Holiday Parade will be kicking off. We're right where it ends is actually where we're set up, next to Mark Twain, who is, wait, is this the Mark Twain? He's behind, okay, but right behind us. He's over my shoulder over here. But we're gonna recap the meeting from December 2nd, Tuesday, that kicked off at 7:30. Again, we are going to do our best to get through this. There are a lot of details. I'm gonna be shouting out timestamps. So if you're watching this on YouTube, the full link is below. That's gonna take you right to the meeting so you could scroll ahead and get the better information for yourself. So that way you can keep us honest, as we are gonna do our best to get this information to you in an easy way. The meeting kicked off again at 7:30. Invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the attendance taken with all council members present. There was no closed session, but Mayor Shevlin did mention the study session regarding the Canyon Park fees. It was a study session presentation from Rebecca Sandoval with the city. It was more talking about, I think, like rental info, stuff like that. It seemed like that they were discussing.
Which would be great to be able to have a party up there.
For sure.
It's
can't wait.
amazing. If you haven't been up there, they did
You really have to go.
They did a spectacular job.
I haven't seen it yet.
I know it was a long wait, but it was worth it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I gotta go. And then you can now, maybe we'll be able to get a party going up there, you know, rent it out, throw a little function.
We should do a recap from there.
Oh, yeah. And the party.
This is a great idea. A recap, a party. This is all coming together beautifully. 8 minutes in, on the link below, you will also get something very important. If you've got little ones, the Santa tour info. Really important. The Santa tour starts on Monday. He's going to be hitting the entire city of Monrovia, different streets, different nights. Again, go to 8 minutes on the link below. Get the info you need so you don't miss Santa. You will hear him coming, though.
It's not just for little
hard to
ones.
miss.
No.
My block comes out and we kind of do a little block party.
Okay, you're right.
And all of us
that's
we're
so
all
fun.
empty nesters. There are no kids on our street.
We're outside too. We don't have little ones.
For little ones.
Well, I go
you will
running
hear
out,
it.
and then my roommate is in a wheelchair, and she wheels herself, you know, mobilized. So she's out on the front porch, and we're waving. Well, I leave the front porch and go out to the end, and I'm waving like this. Hey!
Yeah.
See, I'm glad y'all said that, so I didn't have to be the guy who's like, hey, look, come outside and see Santa, because we're out there too.
It's great.
There was a Monrovia High School student government report from Elsie. 11 minutes in, talked about Monrovia hosting the playoffs for football. Didn't move on, unfortunately. But winter sports also kicked off. Boys and girls came out with wins. Boys are 6-0, getting ready for league. Winter dance also is coming up, she mentioned, along with lunch activities they do on Fridays. Drama department has shows coming up in March. They'll also be in the holiday parade. So if you're here for the holiday parade, you will get to see MHS representing, which is cool. They did move RCM2 up on the agenda. It was a report from Mr. Love, who talked about the water supply.
Yeah, so there was good news and bad news there. Obviously, water is important.
Yeah.
It doesn't rain enough here. We need to get water from other locations. I think it's very important for everyone to listen to that section. You know, great news about recent supplies, but there are some issues.
Yeah.
The one I need to dig deeper into, there was something called the
Golden mussel?
Need to understand that a little bit more, because it sounds like that's a little bit of bad news. So, it's really worth listening to that point. Obviously, we're all trying to do our best to be better use of our water
Yeah, and there was like
and not wasteful.
they talked about larvae detecting it in Apple Valley, not being able to move the species or something like that. It was a lot involved in that report.
Yeah, and it seemed like it also was extremely expensive because all those different steps that they would have to take.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I don't have time to, like you just said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back to really listen.
Yeah.
17 minutes in, link below, you'll kind of see more about Mr. Love's presentation. They move forward with the consent calendar, voting on CC1 through CC12 unanimously. That's on the city website. If you wanted to know what those consent items are, you can see it right there. Usually they put a bunch of them together, they vote through it. Unless someone wants to pull something out, discuss, talk about it, they'll do that too. These are all things I've been learning. If you want to join us, you could do that too. We'd love to have you be a part of our recap team. You might grab a couple people here off of Myrtle today and join the team, KGEM-TV@gmail.com if you'd like to come hang. Shout out to our live outside studio guest, Julie, who's hanging over here on the side. And you'll also catch her hosting recaps, and she is a part of the team. We need the applause sound right now to get it full. But after consent calendar, they move forward with presentations and proclamations. Actually, then it went to public comment. I'm sorry. It was public comment. Martha had concerns about ICE still being in the community at Home Depot. 31 minutes in, Sherry Lochner shared her concerns as well, advocating for day laborers, would like to see a permanent memorial also set up for Roberto Carlos Montoya Valdez at the Home Depot. She also, which we'll get to, but Dylan, our city manager, also addresses some of these things at the end. She also named other people killed in ICE incidents and would like to see the city publicly denounce ICE raids here in town.
I just want to say something really, really quick. I like the fact that she read off their names.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me of when the murder of Mr. Floyd, some artists did a thing, so say their name, say their name. And that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And I think that
These are people. These are
that
our
is
neighbors.
really important. And
Exactly.
I am really glad
Yeah.
that she read off the names.
There's something about names too, like you could say, well, all of the people that are involved, all of the people that have lost lives in incidents. But when you name those names, and as she continued to name the names, it felt heavier and heavier with each name.
Yes, yes, it did. It did.
Yeah, the reality of that is real.
Yeah.
35 minutes in, Mr. Nelson spoke about the 100 points of interest he has with KGEM and CMF. He mentioned something about his friend Tim, whose comment was denied. It looked like he'll be reaching out to City Council with more information. 37 minutes in, Jennifer McDonald wanted to talk about the tree canopy, urban forest, tree plan between Foothill and Huntington, wanted our city to update our oak tree ordinance as well, but was also thankful for the tree plan. 40 minutes in on the link, you'll see Rosemary, who came up to share about appreciating the tree planting agenda item, thanked the city for putting it up, and was pleased with the direction the city is moving in regarding trees. Did have a concern about lack of trees on Foothill. I guess there was one tree in the past 15 years that's been planted on Foothill, was her comment. 45 minutes in, it was public hearing, general amendment plan for land use development. I missed a lot of that, so go 45 minutes in and get the name right for me. It was the planning division manager who went over the 710 South Myrtle corridor plan. Environmental review, general plan amendment, zone changes, all the plans and their recommendations. This is the heaviest part of the whole meeting.
And it's important. We all live here. I always see all these voices online, but we need to understand, what it is, the vision for this city, what are our city leaders doing, and really dig into this. So this is, if there's any part of this meeting to look at,
Yes.
that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, too, if you've been paying attention to it, this has been something that's been discussed and
Right.
talked
Yeah.
about. And
There should be no surprise.
no.
That's always,
No.
when a lot of these projects come up in the city, everyone's like, oh, I'm surprised. Most of them have been in planning for 10 or 15 years. These things don't pop up overnight.
Yeah, don't believe what you see in a Facebook post, because most of the time that's like way 2 years or 3 years or 5 years later.
Late.
But again, 45 minutes in, see it for yourself. Lots of images. You'll see the plans, super detailed. There was a historical resource analysis. They shared that it won't impact the city's historic resources, which people had mixed feelings on that. An hour in, Brad Briggs with the property project shared who he and his business is, that they've been doing multi-family developments. He worked on Station Square as well, I believe, with the Federers, was also involved in MODA. So these are the people that would be involved with this project. Scott then shared that he will be, he's the gentleman who would be running the day-to-day on the project.
Yes. Yeah.
Introduced the team who was there. An hour 10 in, there was a comment from Chase from Savor. I didn't get the acronym for Savor, but she called in on the line an hour 10 minutes in. Savor's requesting the council to not approve the project. There were health concerns with diesel emission risk. EIR was missing, I guess, health risk assessment. She also shouted that there was noise issues that the EIR was failing to disclose. Wanted the EIR to align with the CEQA. These are all terms I have no idea
Yeah. Well,
what they all the way do.
I forgot on the report. You saw what it meant, but I can't tell you what it means.
Yeah.
But even
The checks
while
and
he was
balances of it.
saying it, you see it up
Right.
up on the
Yeah.
screen on his PowerPoint.
Yeah.
But don't get me started because I don't like any of those big buildings. So I'm not the one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a balance between what future residents of Monrovia, where they want to live, what they want to see as part of the city, versus what all of us who have been here for a long time
Yes.
want
Born and
and
raised.
see. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
and it's a challenge.
Well,
sure.
I also think about there's no way that's family friendly to
No.
me. You think
No,
young families with small kids,
no,
Yeah.
so
no, yeah.
Yeah. An hour 13 in, there was public comment from a Carlos Delgado. Didn't feel as though the design fit Myrtle's aesthetic.
That's always, quite honestly, been my issue.
me too. Mine.
I don't love seeing big, tall apartments in Monrovia. I lived in New York City. That's where they belong. I moved to my little bungalow because I love, the single-story homes here. But if they're going to be here, they need to blend into the neighborhood. There is so much more they can do aesthetically versus these big white boxes.
Yeah.
5-story big white
Yeah.
box, or a design
Yes.
box. And there was, an hour 15 in, Rosemary shared about trees that will be removed, how they impact wildlife, air quality, fire risk, along with the city's identity. Hour 20 in, Dale Law Firm, who is the partner handling CEQA info, or was kind of in between that, responded to the comment from Chase about emissions and air quality. Again, go an hour 20 in, watch it through. It's a back and forth. This is the public hearing, so you're hearing all of it right here. Our city attorney spoke to what was shared as well. EIR is compliant with CEQA,
Oh, okay.
and he said that they could move forward with what was presented in the staff report. That's how he felt, our city attorney. Hour 28. So now it goes to council sharing their thoughts. Councilmember Jimenez said he doesn't believe there are no historic impacts. He was concerned with the aesthetic of the building. He also stated his points why, kind of went through discussion that had been had. Dr. Kelly was glad that this would allow low income opportunities. Was also disappointed that more people didn't turn out on that Tuesday, um, which I get, but I think it's a weird timing also with it being holiday time. People are out of town,
Well,
people are doing different things,
you know,
and people have been coming for years
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So I get it, but
oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
the Tuesday after Thanksgiving was not actually a great time to have this
it just
because there has been a very vocal community, um, and rightly so. And it is our job to speak up when this is our town.
Yeah.
So we need that opportunity. And the Tuesday after Thanksgiving weekend is.
Yeah, and it's been happening. That's what I
Yeah.
felt like. I was like, oh, that it maybe not right now, but it
Yeah.
has been here. An hour 34. I did appreciate Councilmember Belden acknowledging the folks that came to speak prior to that Tuesday meeting. Loves our trees. Also sees opportunities to plant more trees through this project. Said that it was good placement for dense housing, but he's also torn. Affordable units. Definitely wanted to preserve the trees and thank the Federer family. Councilmember Spicer, kind of, he was like, a lot of this is already, a lot of what I think he was thinking had been said, but the opportunity to put a building here, because where else would it happen in the city, was his statement, which I also understand. I'm like, where do we are that big. I don't know. I mean, I don't have an ideal space of where it would go or what it would do, but that was his thought. He liked the location, the fact that you could walk to things if you lived there. Mayor Shevlin shared her thoughts on, she mentioned like a buy right project. Sherry provided insight to the mayor's questions, general plan goals, affordable housing, the push to streamline housing developments from state and county, shared about that. Mentioned this is not a big money grab with the current expenses also. So like, for people who are just like, oh, this is just money. And it's like, well, it's not as large. Obviously, people are going to make money for the work they're doing, but things are getting more expensive as time goes, which means their margin gets smaller. Track maps, there's a lot of other intricate questions. Also asked that the trees be added and prioritized, was the thought. 85 units is what they're looking at. It was interesting to me after all of the discussion and the kind of like tear, they moved quick. Like after that, Larry Spicer moved, Edward Belden second. It got moved unanimously. Attorney went over it, and they moved on. And that's an hour 50 in. That threw me all the way off. I was like, this looked like it was difficult, and then it just moved. Maybe that's how it does. I'm not used to.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes people concerned. And that's what opens up, like, well, what else is going on behind the scenes? And I know they say nothing goes on behind the scenes, but we all know it does. So how do you move so quickly on something so big, so intricate, and that people have been voicing their opinion on?
And they seem torn, or it looked like it as they were sharing.
And I do have an issue of, like, if not here, where? Well, maybe it's not right for Monrovia. I mean, this is
and is that the push that could happen?
The Wardy Road, that monstrous thing there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I still think there's a lot of big questions that shoulda, coulda, but
Shoulda, coulda is where we're at now. So that's what's happening. They want it to be a Monrovia-centric project. We'll see if it delivers that. Again, go about an hour, 10 minutes in. Hour-ish in on the way.
Is that also going to, because that part that I had stepped out and then came back after that was all over with. So
that was a long time. You were stepping out.
No. I saw, I mean, no. I saw the city council, their input, and then I stepped out because I had to get here. I didn't watch it until today, late. But anyway, so the workers, is that going to be community people? I mean, local people?
That's going to be that group.
But
Are
I
they-
think
are
your
they
question
going to-
are they going to hire local?
Yeah, because
Like,
I know
there are a lot of people.
Yeah, I know that
in the
there
trades,
there is
yeah.
an organization in Pasadena that, and I know the owner, that what he tries to do is when there's big projects
projects like
going
this.
on, he tries to get local
Sure.
people
Local
to be,
labor.
Yeah.
yes.
Which I hope would happen. I hope, and I think maybe they're thinking with the Federer's involvement and that family from being locally, maybe that would be help in that.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm hopeful, but I have no idea.
I could go down the whole rabbit hole of like hiring local workers for these projects, but we don't have people that coming out of high school going into trades anymore. We don't have,
Well,
you
see,
know,
that's
that
not
opens the
in the
door
schools
for like
anymore
the
either.
school, like
Yeah.
maybe there's an apprenticeship program at Monrovia High that people start going into trades instead of all these jobs that are going to quickly become obsolete
Yeah,
for whatever
yeah,
reason, and they can become part of these projects. Again, I can go down a whole rabbit
Oh
hole.
yeah.
I won't
I'm
take
with
us
you.
there.
So look, we're
Yeah,
gonna move
don't
on
get me started
We're gonna
on
move
that
on.
to
I
the
either, so
report from the city
apologize.
manager,
Yeah.
No, I
RCM1.
don't apologize.
Hour 52 in, Dylan shared about the people who wanted to find a way to honor Robert Carlos Montoya Valdez. He shared their the considerations, what would need to happen with the group, who's paying for it, how it works. So there's a conversation being had on how they could do that, which was encouraging. The city has not received an investigative report from California Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
He said they have reached out. He said they'll reach out again because people are coming to make public comment. They're reaching out.
Yeah.
But I personally don't believe they'll ever hear back from California Highway Patrol about
No.
that. But I'll leave that off the record.
I do want to say the person that hit him was probably so traumatized.
Oh,
and that
absolutely.
person's never going to be the same.
No.
And it's worth
Sure.
also knowing who that person is.
Yeah. And that person wanted to help.
They wanted, yeah. I mean,
The person wanted to help pay
can you
for the
imagine?
for the services. Like they wanted to be
yeah.
involved.
I
Like
can't even imagine what that
No.
person's going through.
oh, yeah. So, Dylan also shared about the school superintendent suggesting that Santa Fe be consolidated. That was something that's also been going on in the schools. If you have not heard from that side, from the district, Santa Fe is going to be consolidated, which means basically it's getting shut down and they'll be moving the kids up to Clifton.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of concern over that, but look, the San Gabriel Valley in general has low enrollment. We're not the only ones.
No,
Every city has extreme low enrollment because these areas have become unaffordable, which goes into the whole building affordable housing. But what's affordable housing in Monrovia is actually quite steep.
That was one of the things, and I unfortunately didn't go to any of the meetings or anything like that, is that, you know, you say affordable for who?
For who? Yeah, young
know,
families. Young families can't
Or
afford
who?
to move to
Yeah.
Monrovia, so there's no kids in the schools.
Yep.
So the schools aren't getting funding, so they have to consolidate.
And if
Again,
you got multiple kids,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's a different
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So
But again, we're not, I mean, Arcadia's having huge problems, Temple City.
one of the schools was going to get
Pasadena's having
closed.
significant problems.
No
yeah.
matter what was going to, you know what I mean? Like, and that's
Exactly.
where I get it. It's going to suck every which way around it. Clifton,
yeah.
Santa Fe, whatever school
Half
or
the town
campus.
is going to be very unhappy.
And we're right here next to Duarte. We've seen them have to shut down schools, what that looks like.
You know, I have family that work in public schools, and they work in Baldwin Park, and both my sister-in-law and my niece, they've been in at 2 schools that's closed. I mean, you know, both
Yeah.
of them have schools that's closed down and having to move.
Yeah.
And I think the way things are, like you said, it's like, it'll change. It's going to have to change. It
Yeah.
just has to change.
Yeah.
The way
Well-
things are, it's not going to be able to be this old way. Like,
No.
there's also nothing wrong with that all the way if you're doing it right and you're looking
Yeah.
out and preparing these schools to be able to do this. You could do a K through 8, and then high school. Like, there's so many ways. It's just about doing it right and setting it up so these kids can succeed. If that's happening, I got no problem with whatever decisions have to be made. It is tough though for, I'm thinking transportation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
And-
a lot of the concern was looking at the 2 schools, which school was in better shape.
Yeah.
I know a lot of like, it seemed like there were more people near Santa Fe, a bigger population of students, which you would think that would be one of the first things they look at. But we don't know what any underlying issues are going on at any of these schools. I mean,
Yeah.
none of these schools are new.
Yeah.
No,
That's it.
I went to both of them, okay? Santa Fe was
So,
elementary
yeah.
school.
Yeah.
And Clifton
yeah.
was what it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But also have to remember Clifton used to be the high school.
Yeah.
So
Which I mean, education, like everything else, is going to be
Yeah.
changing immensely.
yeah. Yeah.
So December 17th is going to be the meeting. If you are interested in finding out what more they're going to be doing with the school, what do they do with the campus, how they're going to handle it. And Dylan also shared they would like to get a joint meeting with MUSD. That's something that they want to continue to do, which I think is important too, that the city and schools work together
Yeah.
Work together.
better. From there, they went to council member reports. Councilmember Belden, an hour 56 in, shared about the Clean Power Alliance update, grant programs for Power Share. Councilmember Spicer talked about the holiday parade, which is kicking off this evening, as we are the pre-party and the warm-up with this recap right here. He also shared about family-friendly New Year's Eve. They're going to be counting down to noon, which I was like, that's pretty cool. So if you got the little ones and they can't stay up till midnight, come
For the
on
old
out early.
ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know about the. I don't know about the.
I always
little
celebrate
ones.
East Coast time.
Yeah. But then there is also the adult one happening later on. The adults that can stay up,
Thank
to
you.
make it till midnight if you want to go. So there's a couple options. And he also shared about the home decorating contest
Yes.
info. So if you need that info, go like 2 hours in on the link.
I think Monrovia does just a fantastic job with their events and providing something for the community, a place to go, a place to celebrate together. I love the home decorating. As a former winner in another city, I may be putting my hat in. I don't know. I've had some. I'm going to be. I have some travel issues.
Throw it in.
But
I want to see what
yeah. If not this year, I'm going all out next year.
I'm going to say shout out to my neighbors, Jason and Maureen. They are always the one on our block, on our neighborhood. I think they even won something at one year. So shout out to y'all. Councilmember Jimenez shared about the community prayer breakfast. He shared.
It was very nice. It was very good.
He shared, that there are other faith traditions involved, which is what makes it special. Dr. Kelly shared about Small Business Saturday being a success. Would love to see an update, I guess, on how the businesses did. Is something she was hoping for. And in Old Town Monrovia, right here, we're on Myrtle and Lime, but down the whole street on Saturdays, you're going to be able to catch carolers. So there will be people caroling along Myrtle Street on Saturday. So are you trying to go be a caroler?
No.
No? Oh, I thought you was out there. Okay.
But back in the day when I was much younger, we used to have, there was carolers that went up and down the street.
I love it.
Yeah.
So that's
nice.
happening. Saturdays and then Sundays, they're going to have carriage rides.
I mean,
So
in
if
your
you wanna do that.
neighborhood, not through town.
Oh, just regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah.
like in our block, we'd all get together and go
Yeah.
caroling along
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah,
house.
that's what.
and
Yeah,
people did that.
that
So it
happened.
wasn't
did,
just
we did.
Hallmark movies.
No.
No.
But it's really
This is why you got to join the
I
team.
know.
We learn
Exactly.
things here. Like, I didn't know about carolers being real. Like,
Yeah.
they just walk regular
We
neighborhoods.
used
It's
to
like-
go around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
and
that's
carol.
what we did when I
Did they invite you in for like cider and stuff like that too, or is that
Sometimes.
just a Hallmark movie?
No, that's Hallmark.
Okay,
No, sometimes.
Well,
yeah.
not where I live. We just
depending
We
on the
just-
neighborhood.
we
you know.
Yeah.
just no, we just
You
you
might
know,
have
we
something
just,
special in the
we
eggnog.
just walked out. Yeah.
Regular, okay.
Yeah, because no.
I will. Anyone who wants to do a Christmas progressional, like those are fun. I lived on a block that 3 or 4 people would choose different parts of the meal, and the whole block would come out
We
and do
used
a
to-
progressional.
we used to do-
It's a really great idea for anyone who wants to do that.
We did that for Baha'i New Year's,
Yeah, yeah.
Nowruz. That we did we call it progressive dinner.
Dinner.
Yeah.
Love it.
There was
Nice.
so, and we made sure we were different parts of the city.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
So we are right now in front of the library. Dr. Kelly also shared that the library is accepting messages from Santa. So if you want to bring the kids out, get that message into Santa. He does respond on email. That's word on the street. So
Okay.
if you The library's right here. Mayor Shevlin talked also about the community prayer breakfast and how it's grown. She seemed very proud of the fact that she beat out the last contestant who had the most people at the prayer breakfast. Seems like a real competition to have most people out there praying. She also talked about Measure A spending plan, jail tour. She was not in jail, but the tour, chamber coffee social happening. Oh, that happened this morning. Habitat for Humanity. Also mentioned the Monrovia Guild Toy Drive on Saturday. Foothill Unity having a toy drive. Boys and Girls Club Festival of Trees coming up. 2 hours, 15 minutes in. You can find that information. Then they moved into AR1, Administrative Report 1, determining the existence of a majority protest, in connection with the citywide lighting proposal. So if you were aware of the citywide lighting proposal, 72% said, nah, we're not trying to pay for that. So they're going to go back and figure it out. Councilmember Jimenez said, people like nice stuff, but don't want to pay for it.
Don't want to pay for it. But as a property tax payer, I pay a lot more in property taxes than when I lived in Arcadia, which my house was 3 times as big. So all the special extra things that we pay for I know are great and are needed, but there gets to be a point where it gets too much.
So that's where we're at. 72% not rocking with it. They'll figure it out.
Yep.
2 hours and 21 minutes in, the attorney mentioned amendments to Title 17 zoning, code enforcement, conditional use permits. I'm sorry I didn't get better details for you on that. If you ladies have more.
No.
2 hours, 21 minutes in on the link below. You'll find that info. It got motioned and moved through. The attorney summarized it as well. And then the next meeting is December 16th on a Tuesday night, 7:30 as usual. And they adjourned at 9:56, almost 10 o'clock. So
Wow.
they wrapped it up. But
Do we have a question from the audience? Oh, yes.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Go ahead, Ms. Gholar. Shout out. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, we're here at the holiday parade, which I don't know if they're going to see this, but the key word is holiday parade, because there are normally 3 holidays that takes place in December.
Yes.
Not only Christmas, but we have Hanukkah, and those that celebrate Kwanzaa. That is also takes place in December.
Solstice.
The solstice is coming.
Yeah.
As well.
So
it's a lot of holiday celebrating.
Yeah. So this is the thing that I really also like about our community, and maybe because I'm a part of our Interfaith Council, that the Interfaith Council of Monrovia, is that we celebrate our rich diversity, not only with the people, but our faith tradition.
Yeah.
You know what? The mayor says something cool about so it's not the mayor prayer breakfast, it's the community prayer breakfast.
They changed the name quite a while ago.
Tom changed that.
You know what? It would be super
yeah.
cool to see the Interfaith Council lead the prayer breakfast.
Well, last year, everyone that got up to say a prayer or whatever, every last one of them was from the Interfaith Council.
Oh, this year?
No, last year.
So this year,
it wasn't.
Copy that. Jodynne, you got anything else?
But it was very nice.
Come join us.
I believe
it was very nice.
Come be one of us.
Yes. You have lots of fun.
It's fun. It's great. It is important. This is our city. We want to hear from everyone.
Yeah.
We don't want just one side, one opinion, and
we learn from each other that way.
We learn from each other.
And not only people, if you look at us age-wise, we also want, those of you watching and you have children, even if they're in elementary school, I think, is to come on and be a part of this. This is great.
Yeah, get involved.
So,
it's easy. You could realistically 3 hours a year if you volunteer.
Yeah.
It would make a huge difference. So we're going to get ready to wrap this
one
up.
More, one more
yes.
thing real good. And how fun would that be? That you're sitting here with your own child and you're going over this.
Yes.
And it could be a family affair,
Yeah.
a miniature family affair. That just popped in my head. I got
think that
excited
would
Gotta
about
share
that.
it.
Yeah.
Got to share it.
I'd be
Anyway,
excited.
So yeah,
sorry.
next year
Yeah.
when we're out here,
Yeah.
we might see a whole family sitting here at this table and
Yeah.
just recapping the thing. But thank you again. We appreciate you for checking this out. Thank you for being involved in our community. KGEM-TV@gmail.com if you want to bring your family or you want to be a part of it. And we will catch you on the next City Council recap. Thanks. And happy holidays.
Happy
Yes.
holidays.
Yes, 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 yes.